Hi everyone, so this lesson took me forever to put together, so it will be a long lesson, so come and see what we have to offer and dig in and learn. So I'm really actually excited about this lesson. I really want my boys to learn this, and I really am excited about you being able to learn this and helping your grammar to get better. So we're going to talk today about the attributive adjectives and noun. So we are going to go into the predicative section also, but we're really focusing on attributive. We're also going to talk about the simple subject and the simple predicates a little bit more so that you can really get them down, because if you're not understanding your simple subjects and your simple predicates, they come together and they make a team in a sentence. And if you're not understanding really what that is, then you're going to get confused on how to get with your singular subject with your singular predicates and your plural subjects with your plural predicates. So it's really important that you understand this part, so when we go in and we learn about conjugation and how to do that with your verbs, and a little bit more about first, second, and third person, you're going to be able to get that down. So you just need to know this part first. All right. So the adjective that comes before the noun is called the attributive adjective. Now, also, so if you think about blue house, white house, see how white is an adjective describing house, and that white is sitting in front of your noun. Okay? Now, they can also sit behind it, but most of the time you're going to see it sitting in the front. Okay? So an attributive adjective comes before the noun or pronoun, it modifies. So if I just say noun, I'm adding in pronoun with that. Okay? But it is a noun or pronoun. He, she, him, her, it's, all those are pronouns. And we've already gone through lots of our pronouns. So, but pronouns replace nouns. Okay, you guys remember that? Okay. And modified means really a higher amount of describing. It covers so many different areas. Okay? So the attributive position means it is not separated by a linking verb. So it comes before the noun, it modifies. So I will be repeating myself quite a bit in this lesson because I want that in your head. We don't separate it with a linking verb. What are linking verbs? Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, and been are the linking verbs, okay? So linking verbs also can be our senses. And we have other linking verbs besides just our be verbs or our auxiliary verbs, but you guys really need to know all of them and understand what your linking verbs are because they're not separated by a linking verb, okay? So phrases can have nouns sitting in the attributive position, like school bus. This is a phrase. Anything with two or more words is considered a phrase. Now, a phrase just can't have the simple subject and the simple predicates together. Those are called clauses. So, but this is a phrase. See how this noun right here, boys? This is a noun. School is a noun. It's physical. You can touch it. Bus is a noun. It's physical. You can touch it. But school right here is acting as an adjective describing the bus. Okay? Okay. Attributive adjectives show a characteristic of the noun or pronoun. It can also accredit the shape, the quality, color, and lots more to the noun it describes. It is describing. So, here's some examples. And I want you to tell me which one has the attributive adjective in it. Glamorous performers. Is this right there? See, look how it's in front of your noun. Is glamorous an attributive adjective? It is. And how do we know that? Yeah. How do we know that? It's because, look, we can take glamorous off, and can you still make sense of a sentence if you just have performers? This is just telling us more about our noun. What kind of noun is it? Right? So this is an attributive adjective. But look at air conditioner. Is this air a contributive adjective? What do you think? So Paul says yes, Daniel says no, and Daniel's right. So if you drop this, air, then you get a completely different word. This is a compound noun. An air conditioner is one thing. If you drop this, then this doesn't make sense. So you know right here that this is not an adjective sitting in the attributive position. So you have to be careful on how you're doing that. So see how conditioner could be like the conditioner I wash in my hair, or you know, it could be lots of different things. The air conditioner is an actual device that cools down my house. This is one big thing. So you drop that off. So this is not an adjective sitting in the attributive position. So you be really careful with that, because if you drop it, you can mess up what you want to say in your sentence. Okay, energetic festival. Energetic festival. Is this energetic an attributive adjective? Oh, it is. Paul, would you have said yes? Because look, Paul, we can drop it and we could say the festival in Denmark. We don't have to say the energetic festival. It's just telling us kind of the quality of what's going on in the festival.
I know what it means now.
Does that make sense? So we can drop this, and if we can make up a sentence with just festival, then you have an attributive adjective. And see how it's right in front of it. So now let's go ahead and diagram this. The energetic festival in Denmark is a great place to meet new people. So I always recommend that you read through it first. So what is your verb? Is. What is? What are they talking about?
Festival.
The festival. So now let's write that out. I should never be over there writing. Okay, is on your verb line, and then we have a predicate nominative in this sentence. Place. Predicate nominative. So how do we know that that's a predicate nominative?
Because if it replaces the place.
Yeah, we have a linking verb here. Place is a noun, so a predicate nominative is a noun position. Okay, see. The place. If you can put the in front of it, you know that is a noun, not an adjective. So it's pointing its way back to festival. It's changing the name. We're nominating this to change the name of the festival. Okay? Now let's look at the beginning of this sentence right here. So we have this article right here describing what? Festival. Going to go off. It's the festival. It's acting as an adjective. Now we also have another adjective describing festival. It's sitting in the attributive position. What is it? Energetic. Nice. Okay, so now we also have a prepositional phrase acting as an adjective, sitting in the attributive position, acting as an adjective right here. See how this is behind this right here, boys? It's behind festival. But is it still attached? So this is still sitting in the attributive position, acting as an adjective. It's a preposition, and it's going to describe festival. Does that make sense? All right, so now if we go over to place, right there, that is your predicate nominative, and we have an article describing place. What is it?
People.
It's an article describing place.
Two.
Nice. So we have and then what is our other word describing place? Great. Now, great right here is in the attributive position, okay, describing place. It's a great. So now we also have a prepositional phrase acting in the attributive position. See how it's next to it? We have a prepositional phrase to meet new people. Okay, so this can be diagrammed two different ways. We're going to start it here, and we're going to use this one as, as a preposition. It's to people. So people is the object of the preposition. This is a noun position. So meet and new. It's meet people. So some people will say this is an adjective. These are both sitting in the attributive position if you diagram it this way. All right? These are attributive adjectives. See how they're next to the noun. Okay? So this can also be diagrammed as an infinitive. And that's how Daniel wanted to diagram it, is as the infinitive. So let's go ahead and diagram it that way. So we have to meet new people. Well, meet is your verb. What's being met? Who's receiving the meeting? The people. Right? And then we have new off of people. This is still an attributive position. Attributive means joined directly to modify nouns without a linking verb. See how this is a linking verb. It's linking this predicate nominative back to the festival. But see how we're not separating this attributive adjective with festival. There's no linking verb in between that. Can you guys see that? There's no linking verb in between here. There's no linking verb in here. So these are the attributive positions in this sentence. And this is because we have this acting as an adjective describing festival. Paul, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And this is, depending on how you want to use that. So nouns used as adjectives are attributive nouns. If you have a noun describing a noun, you can remove the first noun without affecting the sentence. You have an attributive noun acting as an adjective. Can we remove school bus? Can we remove school and have bus?
Yes.
We can. So we know that that is an attributive noun. Okay? That's what it's called. Attributive nouns. This is an attributive noun right here. So the famous teacher taught clogging. This is actually really fun. I like this one. All right, what's your verb? What? Taught. Taught is your verb. Who taught?
Teacher.
The teacher taught. Okay, teacher taught. Now you have a direct object in this sentence. What's being taught?
Clogging.
Clogging is being taught. So, clogging. Oops, can't do it like that. What is this called?
Clogging.
It's called a gerund. Now, gerunds sit on trees. And you have to, So it kind of like goes diagonal. And that identifies this, saying this looks like it's a verb. Doesn't it look like a verb if we're clogging?
Yeah.
It looks like it's a verb, but it is acting as a noun. It's sitting in the noun position, but we have to identify it as a gerund. This identifies it. Sitting on a tree identifies it as a gerund. Okay, so now we have an article acting as an adjective describing teacher. What is it? The. Capitalize it because it's the beginning of the sentence. And we also have an attributive adjective describing teacher. What is it, Paul? Famous. Okay, right there, famous. This right here is an attributive adjective. Let's play with that. Can we take that out? The teacher taught clogging. Does it make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does make sense. So you know, since you can take this out, it is in the attributive position. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay. But let's say we took this out. The teacher taught, well, what did they teach?
Clogging.
Right. So you can't take clogging out. You know that this is a huge piece of the sentence. So you know that that's not an adjective. It's not a verb. Yeah. So this is a gerund sitting on a tree acting as a noun even though it looks like a verb. Gerunds are nouns.
So
right?
How you can tell what a gerund is it's like a verb but it's sitting in the noun position.
Excellent. It looks like a verb. It's sitting in a noun position. If it's sitting in the noun position, you know it's the noun, yeah, right? So okay, so what do we have? The teacher taught clogging. This is sitting on a tree. It's a gerund acting as a noun. Gerunds are nouns. INGs we have right there. Gerunds are INGs, okay? When you're using them as a suffix. Now this would not be a gerund. Swing is not a gerund. This is a gerund. I mean, if you're going to use it as a gerund. It could also be a verb, okay? I mean, you could replace it and say, the famous teacher taught swinging. See how it could sit there if that's what she was teaching.
That makes no sense.
So, but you could even see the famous teacher was swinging. See how we had to use a helping verb to make this a verb? And that's where you talk about your progressive tenses. And then if you used it that way, it would be a participle. Okay, I'm going to switch places over here. The important part of understanding the attributive position is that it is the quality, the detail, commentary, criticism, highlights, accent, and more to the noun it modifies. So we're accenting things. It's the famous teacher. See how she's right next to it? Right here. Famous is right next to it. There's no linking verb separating it, right? We could see if we wanted to change this up, we could say the teacher is famous, but then it would not be, it would actually be sitting in this position with a slanted line, and it would be a predicate adjective. What?
So for the example you just did, would it be like the teacher was famous for for teaching clogging?
Yeah, then you would have it in a prepositional phrase. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so now noun sitting in an attributive position is a noun used as an adjective. Okay? That would be that. A noun used as an adjective. Some verbs will only be attributive. So there are some verbs that we have out there that sit in the attributive position to a noun, and it looks like a verb, it acts like a verb. I mean, it sounds like a verb, but it is actually an attributive. There's not very many of these, but we do have them. So we have other characteristics that nouns can be described by our gender. You have the number, a person, a case. Like gender would be the female coach. Number, you can have, what do you guys think an example of a number? Like, huh? Like many houses, 21 houses. See how you can use that as a number?
213.
213 houses.
113.
Okay, so, or a person. We have case. My son is in law, and they assign cases to people. Anyways, also, attributive is mostly adjectives and sometimes nouns. That's what this means. They're mostly adjectives, but they look like nouns, okay? So use the noun school in 4 attributive positions. I want you guys to do that. Use the noun school. So I used one here. Now you guys use, okay, I already used that.
Schoolhouse.
Schoolhouse.
School work.
School work. School plays. Yeah, I like that. School mascot.
School plays.
I like that.
No.
How about school bell?
School court.
Yeah, you probably could use court. So see how you can do that in different ways where you can take your noun and find another noun and you can put it together. Okay, so remove the attributive word to see if it affects the grammar of the sentence. So if it can be removed, you know you have an attributive adjective. There are attributes of the verb, but that is a completely different thing. So you have to be really careful that if you see attributes of a verb, it is not the same as an attributive adjective. So make sure that if you can remove the adjective, the one that comes before the noun, that's where you see it. I will always say that that's where it is. I know that sometimes it becomes after, but that's normally where you would find a prepositional phrase. Acting as an adjective, okay? So, or some other clause or something, but the main attributive adjective will be in front of your noun, okay? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's where the attributive position. So an attributive adjective acts as a third party. The goal is to understand your noun better, and it is placed before the noun in a clause. So a clause basically like this right here is an independent clause. And then we have dependent clauses, and we'll go into clauses later. We've only mostly talked about phrases. So control and think about how you use your words in writing. Understanding how to use the attributive position in your sentence will help you think better when you write. So really think and use other things that you need. So I actually purchased this item from a company that I really love, and I use it to, if I need to see different words. Well, this one describes size. You know, this one is about responsibility. So, you know, get something that you need to help you be able to think about what you're going to use in the attributive position of an adjective, because it's really important that you use the decorative words. You want to have quality to your noun. You want to add that to your noun because it makes you think outside the box, and it helps people enjoy your writing more. Okay, so now we have attributed information is different than attributive adjectives. So if you see that, it's not the same thing. So attributed information means you are sourcing information. Okay? It means you are pulling it from a source and you're saying, this is where I got my, and it's really important that you do that correctly, but it's not the same thing. Okay, guys? Okay, so now let's go ahead and diagram this. The older cloggers will perform. What's your verb?
Will.
Okay, so will
perform.
Will perform. Who will perform, boys?
Older
Cloggers. Okay, so now we're going to put will perform. Okay? This is your verb line. Well, who will perform? This is your subject line. Now you have an article acting as an adjective that is describing cloggers. What is it? The. It's the cloggers. And then you have older. This right here is your attributive adjective. Can you see that? Okay, and that's how you would diagram this. See how there is not a linking verb right here? It's not separating them out. So right here is giving more information about the cloggers. You can't just say, well, the cloggers are going to come out. You might think, well, the cloggers might be these little cute little kids, or they could be adults, whichever. So my boys are in clogging, and I put these sentences together because I was just in a meeting for them to go to Denmark. And anyways, I just wanted really simple sentences to show you, and so I pulled this out of our meeting. Some ideas. Okay, so now we have, so where is the attributive position? Right there. That's your attributive adjective. It's before your noun. Now the reason why I really want to pinpoint it's before the noun, and that's really where I want you to think about it. So we have compound nouns. Hyphens are required in the attributive position. Where's the attributive position? Before your noun. Okay, sometimes we'll have it, but this is where we want to really focus, that the attributive position is there. Okay, it's being placed before the noun and used as an adjective. All right? If we use high school, see, high school is separated, but it's one thing, right? Mm-hmm. As a noun, it is not hyphenated. But if you were going to use it as an adjective, it will need a hyphen to eliminate any chance of confusion with compound modifiers. So, if you're going to put high school in front of a noun, you're going to need to hyphenate it. Now, if you're going to use it as a noun, then it doesn't need to be hyphenated. But some grammarists, so this is kind of a made-up word, or grammarians or grammatarians, I like to say that, feel you do not need the hyphen if it does not cause confusion. But I would say if you're going to use a compound noun sitting in the attributive adjective position, it needs a hyphen. This will help you with confusions on when do I need to hyphenate it? Does that word need to be hyphenated? So this will help you immensely with that confusion. So look at the verb ascribe. And this means to give credit to assign, to impute accusation and blame, discredit, attribute something to. So those are the different definitions. So ascribe is similar to attribute. And if you want to look up attributive or attribute, you're going to get this word, ascribe. And that's what ascribe means. Okay? So now also when you look at your dictionary words, or if you look this up, again, what are all the different things about the word ascribe? Well, we have third person present, that's ascribe. See, we have our plural s, but this can be super confusing because this is third person present singular. Third person present plural is going to be different. So this is a little bit confusing. So then we have past tense ascribed. Okay, past tense participle ascribed, they're the same things. But if you're not understanding your participles and your simple present and your perfect presence, you're not going to really truly understand how to use these properly. Also, you see a gerund or a present participle is ascribing, and we've gone over this quite a bit. We haven't tackled this. So similar to credit or attribute. So that's what ascribe means. So look at down here on the origin, it's really low. So we have ascribe. So AS means to. This is your, in the OB section with your Latin roots, your Latin prefixes. And scribe right here is it means to write. So OB means to, and then the scribe means write. And so that's what this is. It's giving credit to, you're writing to something. It's helping you attribute. You're giving credit to something. You're assigning them to something. Okay? You're doing those certain things. Yeah, honey?
It says scribe, not scribe.
Yeah, that's what that word is, sweetie.
No, down there.
Yeah.
You were saying she said upgrade.
Well, the scribe part, sweetie, is the Latin root. The AS part is your prefix. Does that make sense? So the scribe part means write, and the prefix means to. It means to write. So that's really, if you look down into the origin of this word means to write. But you're writing this all down. Does that make sense, honey? So let's look at this simple sentence. Paul is cute. See right here, we have our linking verb. It's linking our predicate adjective back to Paul, which is the subject. We have our subject and our verb, and right here will help you. This is going to be in what person? Third, because look, Paul is in third person. Paul's third person. Can we replace Paul with he, she? Yeah, we can replace Paul. He is cute, right? Is sitting in the third person. If he said am is sitting in first person. We don't say Paul am cute. So we're going to go in and we're going to understand what first, second, and third person is a little bit more intensely and help us understand this. All right, so now we're going to focus on the adjective that comes after the noun. So adjectives that come after the noun are called predicative adjectives. So they do not have to come immediately after the verb, you guys. But that's like your notice. When you see the verb and it's coming after the noun, it's your notice that they are not attributive. So like here's some examples. The people are united. What's your verb?
United.
Are. Right?
Yes. Wouldn't it be are united?
See, here are, the people are united. Here's your adjective describing people. What kind of people? The united people. Okay? But see, it's sitting in the predicative position. So also, look at this. If you put an E on the end and get rid of the IVE, you guys, you see predicate right here. This is the predicate. It's in the predicative position. It's the predicate. So that'll help you with that. It's after the noun. See, there's a linking verb separating this right here, okay? Okay, so we can put it here. Now, oftentimes, your attributive and your predicative adjectives, they can come before, they can come after, they can move around the sentence. However you want to put it in a sentence, they can move. But the predicative one is right after the verb, or it comes after the verb. You can have something here describing united. Okay, so now the sisters are happy. What's your verb?
Happy.
Happy. They are happy. Now also look at this. This is plural and this is plural. So you have to use are. You can't say the sisters is happy. You would have to take off this plural s and say the sister is happy. So if you have plural right here, you have to use your linking verb are. So now this is your linking verb and this is your predicative position right here. And that right there is called, do you guys remember? A predicate
Nominative.
adjective. Now, predicate nominative is a noun. But this is a predicate adjective that describes sisters. Okay? Does that make sense? Because you can go the happy sisters, then it would be an attributive position right here. But here is in the predicative. The trees are red. What's your verb? Are. They are red. Here is your predicate. Now this right here is your simple predicate, and this is your simple subject. Simple predicate, simple subject. But if you want to say this is the predicate and this is all the subject, But what is this, the simple subject in this one, Daniel? In this sentence? Trees. What is just the simple predicate? Are. Now, this is a linking verb, linking this adjective back to trees. So you would diagram it like this. So are, trees are. So the trees are. Okay, they are red. It's describing the trees. This is your predicate adjective. And this is the predicative position. All right? And then we have the is off of here. Okay, and look at this. This is plural, and so you need your plural verb. Are is plural. Okay? Now, are can be singular if it's only second person. That's the only time are can be singular is in second person. Okay, so now the couch is clean. So what's your verb?
Is.
And it's a linking verb. It's linking this adjective back to the couch. So it's describing what is the couch? It's clean. It's a clean couch. So you can see how you could put clean couch right here? That would be the attributive position. But since this is over here right after your verb, it doesn't have to be right after, but because you can have an adverb describing clean, but it still has to be after your verb right here because it's sitting in the predicate. And this is a predicative position. Yeah, sweetie?
Yeah, but isn't it also a helping verb?
It is a helping verb, but not in this sentence. It has to help another verb. And this is not a verb, it's an adjective. So also what would help you with a predicative adjective, or it's describing your subject. Does that make sense? This is describing this. Look at this. This is singular, right? So you have to use is. This right here is also in third person. So you have to use is. So this is not first person, it's third person. So see how we can replace couch with it? It is clean. Okay, now the kitchen is beautiful. Okay, we have our linking verb here. It's linking this adjective back to beautiful. It's describing beautiful. What kind of kitchen is it? It's a beautiful kitchen. So see how we can like put the beautiful right here. This would be, if we put it right here, it'd be in the attributive position. But see, since it's after the verb, it is in the predicative position. And it's divided by a linking verb. Okay? So now there are adjectives that can only sit in the attributive position. Right here. This is one of them. Elder, eldest, there are more. But I just wanted to discuss this. So look, let's think about elder. So we can say the elder sister, but we can't say the sister is elder. Does that make sense? We can say the eldest brother, but we can't say the brother is eldest, right? That's goofy. So this can only sit in the attributive position. What is the attributive position?
In front of the...
Yeah, before the noun. Okay? So, the main house. See how that's sitting in the attributive position. We can't say the house is main. That would be in the predicative position, and it doesn't make sense. Okay? So there are some words that will only sit in the attributive position. There's adjectives that can only sit in the predicative position. Yeah, honey?
I have a sentence for you.
What?
I'm gonna use the eldest one.
Okay.
So this is the eldest house on the street.
Okay, this is the eldest house on the street. Okay. You probably would use oldest on that one. That would be a better word. Eldest would be probably more relating to people. Okay, so now look at this. This can only sit, there's some words that can only sit in the predicative position. So the child is afraid. We don't say the afraid child. We say the child is afraid. We don't say the alive child, or the alive fish, the alive animal. We say the animal is alive. All right? So where is the predicative position? Well, we can have, let's look at okay, so now we have a sentence here. The festival is a great place. Now, you might think that, well, great, it's sitting in the predicate. Oh, it could be the predicative position, but it's not. So we're going to diagram it over. So what's your verb?
Is.
Is. Who is? The festival is.
And then
Okay.
that goes under festival.
So now we have a predicate nominative. This is not an adjective. It's place. So this is a predicate nominative. It's a noun. It's not an adjective. So we have great is describing place. So this adjective can sit in the predicate position, but it's not a predicative position. This is the predicative position when you have clean and it's bouncing it back to the subject. This is bouncing it, see? It's right in front of its noun. Do you see that? Even though this is in the predicate, it's not describing the main. Also, what's kind of fun, so we can have the fun, I need to be over here. Fantastic festival. That is something that can really add a lot to your paper that you're writing or whatever you're writing. But look, you have 3 F's right here, and this is called an alliteration. The fun, fantastic festival. And so you can do fun things with your words, and it kind of draws out some fun ideas and helps you bring to light what you're really trying to do here. Adjectives sitting in the attributive position. Here's some more. We have cloth. Where's the attributive position?
Before the noun.
Before the noun. So these sit in the attributive position. We have cloth, same exact, future, urban, rural, pure, and rude. Did I over there? So right here, we have pure and rude. Well, you look like it. Well, the girl is rude, but then that's acting as a verb. But you can say the rude girl. Okay? Anyways, those can sit in the attributive position. Adjectives sitting only in the predicative position. So here's some more. Asleep, alone, alert, ashamed, fond. Now that's not all of them. So if you notice, though, most of the predicative adjectives start with a, with an A. Alone, alert, ashamed. So let's look at these examples right here. The moose is live or live. This is an unusual word because it can be live or live. So as live, the live moose is, then you can do it like that. So this is how you would use the moose is alive. You don't say the moose is live. The moose is live. You don't do that. Does that make sense? So here's another one. The tree is live. The tree is live. It's not right. So you can't even tell if this should be live or live because it doesn't make sense. So now we have the tree is alive when you have the A in front of it. Now, and that's where you would get when you have the live or live. The live, those are verbs. That's a verb right there. Verb attributive adjectives, they show a characteristic for attribution in the past that are available for that adjective. Okay, so some examples. The live moose was attacked. So see how you can't use it in the predicative position. You can't use it, but you can use it in the attributive position. Do you see that, Paul? We grow live trees. So even though this is after the verb, this is describing trees. So this is the attributive position. Okay? And this right here is your direct object. What's receiving the grow? The trees are receiving the grow. So those live trees are apples. See how it can sit in this attributive in the subject position, in this attributive in the predicate, but this is not a predicative position because this is attributive right in front of the noun it affects. It's in front of the noun. Can you see that? So the cougar attacked the live moose. So we have live here, it's sitting in the predicate. See how it was sitting here in the subject, but it's in the attributive position because it's right before its noun that it affects. So right here is after the verb, and it's going back and describing the subject. Okay? So that's when you have a linking verb. Linking verbs are linking your adjective back to the subject. That's why when you have predicative, they are connected to your linking verbs. Nouns are described by adjectives. Okay? So we talked about nouns describing adjectives. Linking verbs will tell us if we have a predicate nominative or a predicate adjective. This right here is your predicate nominative, and this right here would be your predicate adjective. See, here's your linking verb, but see, this is taking you back, describing the subject right here. It's describing. We can't the clean, that doesn't make sense. But we can say the place. And that is a noun. Predicate nominatives are nouns. Predicate adjectives are obviously adjectives. Action verbs are followed by direct objects. So right here, we grow live trees. This would be your direct object. Does that make sense, boys? Who's receiving the grow? The trees are receiving the grow. Okay? So now let's talk about participle clauses. They can sit in attributive parts in a sentence. So we talked a little bit before. So we mostly look at the attributive position before the noun. But here is a time where you can see an attributive being after the noun. We have the boy dancing in the play is mine. Now, this is a participle clause right here. Because it has your ing in there, right? And we have, what's your subject? Well, maybe I should say what's the verb? Is. Who is? The boy. So this can be really confusing. The boy dancing. So a lot of people think that dancing is actually the verb. It's not. Dancing is acting as an adjective describing boy, but it's also put in with this prepositional phrase because in the play, right, in the play is describing dancing. So these all go together and it's describing boy. So see how it's right after the noun? This is an example. Most of the time, you would see the attributive position right before the noun, and that's where we would say it is. So this is not a pure attributive position. This is, we have lots of words that go like this because you can't even say the dancing in the play boy, that's goofy. So it has to go after the noun, but see how it's right next to the noun right here, boys? So this will trip so many people up because they think this is the verb, and it's not. It's an adjective, okay? And it is also a, what kind of ing? It's not a gerund. It's a participle because it's acting as an adjective. Only gerunds can only act as nouns. And it's acting as an adjective describing boy. So dancing is a what? It's a participle. Participles can act as adjectives. Now, gerunds can only act as nouns. So we know that this is not a gerund because it's describing boy. So it's a participle, acting as an adjective. Okay, so, and right here is your linking verb. Another participle clause, and we have the written pages were destroyed. Okay, so we have a participle right here that is actually acting as its verb that a lot of people think, oh, that's its verb. But we have an adjective, it's a participle, acting as an adjective describing pages. It's the written pages. So this right here would be in the attributive position also, but it's in the pure attributive position, maybe the first place. That would be the pure attributive position, and this isn't really the pure because this is where you see most adjectives fit, is right before it. Also, look at this. Is plural or singular?
Singular.
Singular. So you have a singular subject. Were is plural or singular?
Plural.
Plural. So you have a plural subject right here. You need to remember, oh, and also this is third person. This is third person. So you have to use is for third person and were for third person. Okay? Now, perfect participles. This is a perfect participle. This is a participle. Okay? This perfect participle is typical for your ed. Okay? When you see ed added on, you know it's a participle because your base word is destroy. But this is an irregular participle. What is your base word on that one? Right. Exactly. So this is the participle part of right. So perfect participles, it's something's state or condition depending on the word it describes. Okay, that's what it is. So, and then we have our ed that says this is a past participle. But also the ed, it puts it in the past, but it's also important to understand perfect. This right here is a perfect participle. And so because we have simple, past participles, we have perfect participles, past, present, and future, and we're going to go into that and understand that a little bit more. I just want you to be aware that it's right there. So now we have our verb plus our ed is how you get our participle. Okay, so here is an example of a participle acting as an adjective. So the men dug out the buried stump. So what's your verb in there?
Dug.
We have dug. Who dug?
Man.
The men dug. So, but buried, it looks like buried should be our verb. Because isn't buried doing something? It's not. It's acting as an adjective in what position? The attributive or the predicative position? What position is this sitting in?
Attributive.
This is the attributive because this is your noun. So a lot of people might think that, oh, they're buried, but it's not the buried men. So if we can put that in front of it, is that making sense? So we know right here is not our verb. We're not saying the buried men. We're saying the men dug. It's the buried stump. Because the men aren't being buried. The stump was buried. Okay, now I just wanted to remind you that a verb of attribution is different than the attributive adjective. Attributive adjectives come before nouns, right? So verb of attribution means when you are borrowing from a source, you need to give credit. So you just need to be really careful with that. Attribution, that's what that means. Okay, so now let's look at this. The glamorous performer danced at the palace. Whoops, we got to put a period there. Now what's your verb? We're going to diagram it.
Dance.
Danced.
Performer.
Who danced? The performer danced. I'm going to be over here. Okay, now, so we have our verb and we have our subject. Okay, so we have an attributive adjective describing performer. Oops, I forgot my M in there. Describing performer. What is it? Glamorous. Let's put that down. Now we also have an article describing performer, the performer. Okay? And it's the. We're going to capitalize it because it's at the beginning of the sentence. We have a prepositional phrase acting as an adverb describing your verb danced. At. And what's your object of the preposition? At the palace.
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 Oh, palace. And where does the go?
And it's the palace. So we know that this is the noun, right? Right. Look at this. This is called a past participle right here. The performer danced. It's in the past. Okay? It's in the simple, but it's in the past, the simple past. Look at this. Whether I put a plural S right here or keep it out, this verb and this could be plural or singular with this verb. Okay? Because of how it is conjugated. So when it's sitting in the past in the simple, it doesn't matter. Matter if it's going to have a plural here or if we have a singular here, you guys. Does that make sense? So now, this is our attributive adjective right here. It comes before the noun. So we have the dancing performers bowed energetically. What's your verb? Bowed. Who bowed?
Performers.
The performers. See if we have the plural S there or if it is singular. It's the same right here. Because when it really matters is when it's in third person, what? Singular, present. This is past.
Singular or present.
All right? So that's when it's really going to matter. But look at this. The dancing performers, what is that? It is a present participle acting as an adjective. We don't have, this isn't the verb. The verb's right here, which is a past participle actually being the verb. So now we have energetically. What is energetically? How did they bow? Energetically. This is describing bowed. So if you have an ly at the end of your words, it is almost always an adverb. Not always, but it is almost describing how. It can describe adjectives, adverbs, and obviously your verbs, right? Hi, Nilton. Okay, I know you asked about when the T's say the D sound, and I wanted to make sure I had some words, and when I was tutoring a student of mine, he said a word and I knew exactly what you were talking about. So here is the lesson that I put together for anybody that really wants to understand what happens and why the T turns to the D sound. But I also added a little bit more in here, and we have travel. See how you hear travel, but so many people say travel, the CHR. And so a lot of people want to spell the CHR instead of TR because that's what they hear, chur. And they travel, tricky, truck, trying. But that's not how you really actually say it. You say travel, tricky, truck, trying. So if you see a CHR, you know it's Greek. You can't spell something that CHR is Greek, and this is not Greek. So you can't spell it like CHRAVEL. Or if you want to pronounce it. But a lot of people speak really fast, and that's when it switches up. Or if they don't have their pronunciation quite solid, that's what's going to happen. It's going to say chur, travel, but it's travel. We do not spell TR for CHR. This is Greek word. Okay? Also, look, traitor. No, we say traitor, not trader. So this is a confusable. See, we have traitor and traitor. This is a D and this is a T. This means sell and this means betray. But a lot of people say trader. It goes trader. And this turns to the D sound. And the reason why it turns to the D sound is because you have a vowel here and a vowel here. And if you say it really fast, this will say D. But it's really traitor. So when you say it slower, it should be traitor. And this is trader. So that's how you pronounce it. Trader and traitor. But when you say it fast, this says traitor. You're our traitor. That means you betray somebody. So that's what happens. That is the reason why this T is turning to the D sound. But if I were you, I would really focus on trying to say this with the T sound. That is the proper way to actually say it. So we have, and then let's go over your EDs again. We have rented. This is a T, so it's going to say the ED sound, rented. But here we have, this is a soft sound, and so this will turn to the T sound, missed. And so this is tricky to get to spell because some people want to spell it M-I-S-T, which is a word. But this is a base word, miss, I miss you. So now we have expanded, here's your D, and so it's going to say the ed. Sometimes it will say id, but expanded. Now, sneezed. This is a hard sound, and so it's going to turn to the D sound, and this one turns to the T sound. So they just get confused on how your mouth just naturally wants to do that. So here's some examples of what we talked about up here. Capital, that's how you actually pronounce this word. But because these vowels right here, they want you to say, it forces you to say capital if you're going fast. But it really should be capital. So if you're pronouncing it right, you're going to spell it right. But it's really when people speak quickly, these vowels do something in your mouth that causes that to turn to the D sound. Rattle. Well, it's really rattle. Rattle. So oftentimes when you have the LE or the AL right next to the L, and that's what's going on here too, but this is also vowels, so this one's a little bit even trickier. This L sound helps that turn to a D. So this is actually rattle, not rattle. Rattle. Metal, not metal. Okay? But so I would just work on that to make it say the T sound. Meter, not meter. So right here, see you have the two vowels right here. You have two vowels, and it doesn't matter whether there's two T's or one T, it's still affecting the T sound. So this says butter, but a lot of people say butter. Pass me the butter. But it's really butter. But that's what happens when we speak fast. Letter, not letter. Water, not water. See? You have your vowels here. That's kind of affecting that. Batter, not batter. Better, not better. But that's what happens, is your mouth just does that. Quarter, not quarter. Now also, this doesn't have the two vowels between it, but it has an R. So R's and L's kind of cause trip-ups with our tongues and how we pronounce things. And because this is an R, it also affects the T to say quarter. But it's not quarter, it's quarter. So here's some words where it's not forcing the sound at all. Persistent, persistent. We don't even, it doesn't even help us say persistent. You have to force it. And see, there's not two vowels in between it. And also I found that when you have a T here, and it's really part of like a main part of a syllable, persistent, it's not going to force it. Petite, see we have two vowels here, but because this right here is really part of a main syllable, it will not. You have to like really force yourself. Petite, it doesn't, you have to do that. This says petite. Pretense. So this is the same thing. This is its very own syllable, and it doesn't really want to do that. I mean, this is when it breaks over here. Short. These are all short. But pretense, this is long, and it's not even affecting this. But this is petite. It's just there's some words that it just really messes you up. And these are some of the words. Because these have vowels, but it's not causing the issue. Bulletin. You can't even try bulletin. You have to force yourself to say that, even though these have vowels. But it really, I noticed that when the T has a really solid syllable right here, that it doesn't do that. Okay, now we have bet and yet. And some people get these mixed up because this T kind of elongates. Bet. It has a longer sound to it. These do not get confused, I think, very often. But it might say bet, yet. You might like last it out, and you shouldn't. You should just say bet, yet. Just make it solid, and don't put the D sound in that at all. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. It was fun putting it together, and here's Paul. We're saying goodbye, and I hope you have a really fantastic day.